Karibu sana. Happy Madaraka Day. Yes. This is Politics Today hapa Science TV. Hapa tunachapa siasa. Na niko naye the one and only SG.
Yes, John.
Mbali ama uko karibu?
Yes, John. Niko hapa.
Hi.
Hey.
We've missed you. Are you still the SG Free Kenya movement?
Yes, we are still organizing ourselves to come up. We've been in court and all that stuff. So tuko hapa.
Wacha nikumbushe watu jina yako by the way.
Yes.
Nicholas Oyo, Secretary General Free Kenya Movement. My name is Jonas Simba.
Thank you.
Follow us on 0111 or share with us. Tell us something on 0111980384. Anza na neno politics, alafu utoe comments zako hapo. Nicholas Oyo.
Yes, Jonah.
Free Kenya inaendelea aje?
Yeah, we are building up. The independent candidates are going to be a very big factor in the next elections.
Yes.
And we believe that that is what we have to organize.
Okay.
Gen Z walisema partyless.
Partyless.
That's independent.
Are you still leaderless?
Leaderless tunapanga.
Nasikia leaderless was a mistake.
Maybe yes and no. You know, it all depends on the dynamics that were happening at that time. Yeah.
You know Morara Kibasu?
Yes.
Yeah, Morara Kibasu has been saying that now he's apologizing for calling the Gen Z's leaderless. Now
yes.
you need a leader. And by the way, anasimama na inject.
Ni sawa, some of us are not going to look at parties. We are going to look at parties that are progressive. We are going to work with them.
Yes.
Even as we are independent, because we want good leadership in this country.
You need to change your strategies, don't you think? Hiyo mambo ya partyless, leaderless, what was it? Okay, ile ingine ya formless was from the president, I think.
Hiyo ilikuwa ya ingine ya kutukana. It was partyless, leaderless, tribeless.
Partyless, leaderless, tribeless. Okay,
now,
let's start with partyless. Partyless, not anymore.
No,
now
we are saying that
one Makoure, ODM now.
Those guys have moved, but we are saying that partyless is still very important.
Yes.
Because the parties put you in a straight jacket, Jonah. You cannot uwezi amua kitu. Kama sasa, for instance, we have a person who was in the lady from anaitwa Gloria Orioba. She's now being thrown out of parliament because alienda kumit Matiang'i. So you see, this is the problem with parties.
Gloria Orioba was of which party? She's
a nominated MP from Kisii, and she's from UDA. Sasa imekuwa ni shida kwa sababu alienda kumit Matiang'i.
Okay.
So you can imagine what it is. It's like you go into a party and a lot of the parties in Kenya, you don't have, your brain is taken away. Now lazima uingie pale uache hiyo ubongo hapo nje, which is very unfortunate. So a lot of these parties, we still want to change the political parties act to make sure that it is actually what Kenyans need.
I wish I would bring disability league leaders here.
Yeah, they will tell you a lot.
To tell us what the PWDs are doing in those parties.
Yeah, they are facing a lot. In fact, one of the things that we say with the issue of partyless is the PWDs, youth and women, would find a better grounding in the independent movement. And we've seen a lot of that.
Your chairman, was it party leader, Bob Njagi? Is he the chairman? Is he the party leader?
He's the chairman of Free Kenya Movement.
He's still running for office? President?
Yes, as things go by, we've had meetings with other progressive parties like Safina Party. We've had meetings with Safina Party for now. We are still moving towards looking at other progressive movements across the country.
Have you met Wiper? Of you meeting Wiper?
I don't want to say Wiper is progressive because we've seen problems with Wiper before. But we are waiting to see.
But you've met Wiper?
Let it not be something that I agree to.
Okay. So you've met Safina Party?
We've met with Safina Party recently.
Okay.
We are looking at other parties also, which are very progressive. Yeah.
When you talk Safina, you are talking of minor. Is it Wanjigi?
Let's restrict to the party because
not the individual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leaderless.
Leaderless, I think that was a mistake. Again, I think it was important because of the dynamics at that time.
Yes.
People would have been targeted, and it made sense that they avoid people being targeted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you really seeing the Gen Zs and the youth in general making any meaningful move and shake in 2027?
Oh yes, oh yes. The issue here is that you see this 2024 revolution, or what you can call it, that kind of energy
Yes.
has moved on to 2025. And you've noticed that there's still the question of Ruto must go is still very much there. But then the question is the issue of capturing that energy. You'll see people like Kalonzo trying to talk about the Gen Zs. You'll see the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, trying to talk about the Gen Z. You'll see somebody else trying to talk about the Gen Zs, which means that that energy is there. What we want to do is to unleash it for the right causes of this country.
It is a totally different story when it comes from the Tanzanian parliament. They call you people, the youth of Watovu.
It is not
Or
all
is it
parliamentarians.
Are
It
they
is
against the activists, or are they... Actually, when you look at the clip about the parliament that was going on, they mentioned the Gen Zs of Kenya bossing it over other Gen Zs of the region. Do you share the same view?
Yes and no. You see the question of issues about there's something called contingency of example. What happened in Kenya can end up happening in other places. It has happened before in other places. It's not the first time that it has happened here in Kenya and gone to another country. In Burkina Faso, the young people came and you saw what happened. It ended up, finally we have Ibrahim Traore there. It all started in 2014, and by 2022,
Right.
Ibrahim Traore was now the person who looks like the development of that.
Definitely, none of us advocates for that kind of takeover.
Yeah, of course,
We
but
want orderly ways
in the
take
question
this
of
into-
Burkina Faso,
Yes.
they have their history. But in Kenya, we do use the electoral processes, and I hope we are going to do that. The question of Tanzania, though, Tanzania has been a very important stopover for any movement in Africa that is looking at liberating themselves.
Okay.
It is Mozambique, it is South Africa, it is Namibia, all these people, even Kenyans, when we had people who had to go to Tanzania,
Yes.
the people like James Orengo, the people like, a lot of Kenyans had to move to Tanzania when they had problems here. So Tanzania was a very important outpost for liberation movements. It's very unfortunate what is happening there right now, because if it happens that we are moving backwards in Tanzania, then it's very unfortunate, and we hope that there's going to be a discussion around moving the democracy forward.
Some of them, during the parliament there, what has filtered to us here in Kenya is that they mentioned when there was problems in Kenya in 2007, it is them who came to rescue us. That tells us they're a step away in terms of orderliness. This kind of shake-up we've had in 2024, if it happened in another nation in the region, do you see it, the nation still holding together the way Kenya is holding together? Where are we now?
I would have said that that shake-up would have, it needed to leave its usefulness and it needs to end up at somewhere. Because you see what is happening. We are having a parliament, we are having a judiciary, we are having a lot of our, even the commissions, like the IPOA commission, for instance, looks like it's not really doing what we hope it to do. The only commission that seems to have been growing a bit of some power is the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. But every other commission, if you look, it looks like there is something that doesn't move the way it's supposed to. They are not really pulling their weight. They are not using their teeth that they have. The EACC here and there, yes. But the question that we need to deal with, Jonah,
Right.
can we get to a point to the next stage of progress in terms of democracy? Not just in Kenya, not just in Uganda, even in Tanzania, this region. Because we cannot have a situation where we move forward and we move backwards, too many steps backwards. We need to move to a level where the people of East Africa can actually be felt to own their countries, to be able to give direction to their leadership. And I hope that is what will happen in 2027. And then we see how it happens in other countries. We need real democracy.
That's right. Some people have argued that that is another angle of maturity of Kenyan politics, where they still, despite all that Kenya has gone through since last year, they still are holding hope to their institutions, including the IBC. Now the new IBC is in place. Kenyans are still keeping their fingers crossed in terms of the institutions. Do you really applaud this to Kenyans? Is it that Kenyans are looking at hope in the future, or is it by default?
There is a lot of hope. On the question of IBC, it is not yet in place. It has to go through the process of vetting in Parliament. Right. There is court cases, including ours truly. We have a case in court, petition E055 of 2025, where we're asking where were the independent candidates involved, because we talked about that issue where 5 of the 9 commissioners who basically were in the select panel were coming from political parties. So they still push and pull, which is very important. It is mature to have push and pull, Jonah, because if you're building something and somebody doesn't tell you that I think you're going wrong on this part of this building, then you may end up creating something that does not really work. So we hope that the pull and push is going to help us. It is important that we are also projecting ourselves to the region. But then again, Jonah, it's a reaction to what has been happening. You remember the case of Kiza BCJ. Yeah. You remember the case of Marie Saranga from Tanzania. Yes. And you know all these things are things that happen across East Africa. So when you see our people going to other countries, it is because now we've reached a point that we are feeling that these things are happening are not just happening in Kenya. They are affecting Eastern Central Africa, and especially East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya seem to be having, there seems to be something going on between the leaderships in these countries. There seems to be an agreement to actually deal with the question of human rights activism and the question of fighting for defense of our constitutionalism.
Are you seeing this affecting our integration as East Africa community? By the way, much earlier, we only used to sing the national anthem. Now, schools sing the national anthem of Kenya
and the East African national
anthem. And then what we saw yesterday, I mean, what we've just been seeing since last week, the discussions in the Tanzanian parliament. One particular politician, Joseph Marungi or something, he said, hatuna lolote la kujifunza kutokana na Wakenya hawawezi kutufunza chochote. Sio siasa, hawatushindi kwa siasa, hawatushindi kwa akili, hawatushindi la lolote. You can be sure many of the Kenyans must have gotten a bit rubbed the wrong way. Is it true, really? I mean, where is the East Africa integration going to? Especially now with politicians coming. I don't want to imagine the Kenyan politicians discussing.
And it's coming, the discussion is coming, yes. But I want to call on all politicians in both countries. I want to call on all civil societies in both countries to tone down. Yes. The issue that you're seeing when somebody says something like that, you definitely are not saying the truth. You cannot say that we can't learn from Tanzania. You cannot say that we can't learn from Kenya.
Yes.
You cannot say that, because if you go to your schools, you will be told this happened in Kenya, this happened in Tanzania, this happened in Uganda. It is a normal thing to know that history is there and things happen, and human being is about history. So when somebody says that, I will discredit what they're saying. It's unfortunate that we are getting to this point. But Jonah, I think the question is of sycophancy. Yes. And the problem is this, that when the leader says, you all follow the same funnel, it's very unfortunate that that is what you're getting. Jonah, you know, and I have said that in this show before, the leaders, the first organization, the first institution in a country is parliament, Jonah.
Right.
It is parliament before you come to the presidency. It is parliament, John. It is parliament that has all those people. And it is parliament that instructs the presidency. So when you get a situation that has been turned around, and it is like now the president and then parliament, and this is what seems to be the image, not just in Tanzania, even here in Kenya. We've seen a situation where once it has been said by the person in State House, then everything else now, everybody now follows through. And it is unfortunate. We need to get this sorted out. And I hope the Tanzanians are having the elections in this December. October, yes. I hope they do that, what they need to do. The way things are looking, it might not be, it looks like more of the same there. But in Kenya, 2027, in Uganda, there's 2026, and then in Kenya, 2027. Okay. Let's hope there'll be some changes.
Yeah, just before someone says I didn't quote it correctly, that particular parliamentarian went ahead to say, hatuna shida na Wakenya wa kawaida. Yes.
It is
politics, right?
It is unfortunate that we get to these points, Jonah.
Yes.
You know, this is what coming here I was asking myself. You look at the rest of the world, there is integration. You find the EU. Jonah, you grew up when there was nothing like EU.
Yes.
Now there is EU. You get to any kind of country in EU and you find that the rules are almost the same. It's only that maybe in UK, because of their vote, Brexit, they did not join the EU, but they're also rethinking their process. You go to America. America was actually 50 countries that came together. People don't understand these things. So integration is happening the rest of the world.
Right.
But us, because in 1884, 85, somebody did a conference and decided to share Africa out, we are still continuing to allow that to happen, Jonah.
Probably
because
Tanzania.
for me, if you look at it,
Right.
Uganda and Kenya,
Yes.
and I'll give you a very good example. There was a time when we were going to have a president in Kenya, who is the the vice president at that point,
Yeah.
Mudi Awori, and there was the Ugandan, I think he's called Agri Awori, who was going to also run for president. What if it happened that they both won, became presidents one way or the other? You see what that means? It means that the border in this country went into even houses and basically divided houses. It's very unfortunate.
Right.
But Jonah, I hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I think those things you're talking about, the East African, now we are seeing in the East African anthem, we are talking about the East Africa community. But I hope that you're going to get leadership that is going to be not hypocritical. Jonah, we need leadership that basically deals with these issues the way they're supposed to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Probably the world seems to be shifting in a way, because when you look at what America is doing, America first. When you look at Brexit,
Yeah.
so probably Tanzania may also be looking at its internal, issues.
I think, Jonah, for me, the question of what happened in Tanzania is a drawback, is a clawback to democracy, in my view.
Right.
Because Tanzania, as I said, has credentials of having supported movements of liberation in Africa. It was where we used to run to. It was when Mwalimu Julius Nyerere used to be there, and we used to run there because of, it was a place you will be received at any time. Dar es Salaam University has received a lot of Kenyan and even Tanzania and even Ugandans who are having problems in their countries. So it looks like it's unfortunate that that is what now has happened. There is a lot of questions on human rights abuses in Tanzania right now. There have been abductions before. You saw what happened with Sarungi, who we are talking about here.
Right.
They wanted to take her from there. There's a lot of, should I say, targeting at Chadema party, which is very unfortunate because I don't see Chadema looking like it's going to even win a lot.
So far, it's not been certified to run.
Which is unfortunate, Jonah,
Right.
because you see, if this matter had been left and people had gone and watched and went to court and followed up the matter and came back home, who would have talked about this issue? Nobody. But you see now, when you respond, then now it brings an entire problem.
Okay, let's leave that and come to our internal affairs also.
Yes, yes.
Madaraka Day is coming.
Yes.
Happy Madaraka Day. I would have asked you to sing songs, but I know the songs you may sing. You may end up singing. You remember?
I don't want to hear that.
Which other one? Maybe there used to be Muungano Choir. You remember those choirs?
Kenya nchi yetu ni mzuri, tuungane sisi kwa sisi.
Ewe Kenya nchi yangu. Ewe Kenya. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
it's a good one because it's not really talking about. But Jonah, we've come from far.
Yes.
Madaraka Day for me is something that we needed to find the real cause for this and the real celebrations.
Yes.
One thing that I would say that is tick is that now it's moving across counties. The one that is coming, this edition is going to be in Homa Bay. I believe Homa Bayrians have never seen that kind of thing. But Jonah, we must reach a point where we are talking about the real interest of this country. And I'm yet to see...
is it really in Homa Bay?
It is in Homa Bay. From what I gather, it is in Homa Bay. And you know, you will always look at that and you find there is political machinations in deciding where it's going, which is unfortunate. I would have hoped that we have a plan that there is an institution that is not really political that decides where it goes and this kind of stuff. But anyway, that is a matter for another time. We are moving towards having these Madaraka Days and what have you should be something that we just reflect and basically learn our history, the right history, John. The right history, because we've had a problem where we get some whitewashed history in this country. You've seen when people are being given awards, it's somebody who is close to who is who. And we need to get away from those things. But happy Madaraka Day to Kenyans.
You know, Homa Bay, Kasipul is in Homa Bay. Kasipul.
Yes, and there is a lot of politics going on there.
I think it's time for people to focus on celebration. Is there anything to celebrate? Because Kasipul and Homa Bay has seen a lot.
Yeah. We've had the latest was the murder of former MP Were, Charles Were. Yeah. And these matters look like there is a lot of issues.
There was an attack on, was it the deputy governor? Yeah.
Yes, it's unfortunate that we are getting this. We are getting a problem with this kind of issues coming with politics, Jonah. It's very unfortunate if we begin to descend towards there. Jonah, I would always say that the best saying that I heard one politician say in this country, I would protect your right to say it as much as you can, even if I don't like what you're saying.
Right.
This should be the motto that we work with. And this should be the motto that we look at, that you have the right to say it.
It's unfortunate that our minds now can think of people who have either been tortured or killed because of politics. It's not just in Kenya, but in the region. Let's go back. You know the name Tundu Lissu.
Tundu Lissu is facing a lot of problems.
You know
Kiza BCJ is facing problems.
You know Maraya Sarangi.
She's facing a lot of problems.
Now, let's come back to the other day is it Kaimburi? George?
Yeah, Kaimburi from Tanzania.
No,
Kaimburi, our MP who,
yes.
Jonah,
and then it doesn't stop there.
It is unfortunate that we can count, and our fingers will end if we count the people who have suffered. Yes.
What happened to his feet?
Jonah, we need to hear what happened there.
Yes.
I hope he will come and tell us exactly what happened. He has alluded to what has happened. There was a lot of torture,
yes.
Which is unfortunate. When you get torture coming from the neighboring country, yes. It is very unfortunate. I think it was very easy for somebody to just say, go back to your country and let's finish this there. I hope there's going to be tolerance, Jonah, and I hope this Madaraka Day is going to be about tolerance, because we are going towards the political season.
Yes.
There's going to be a political silly season in the next, almost, I think, in the next 12 months or so. And we are going to get to a point where now politics 411 is going to be the only thing going on. Right. We hope that there's going to be tolerance. We hope that people will begin to understand that if I win, Jonah, or if you win, even by one vote, it is a win that Kenyans have said. It's the will of the people, and we need to move to that direction, Jonah.
Certainly, we don't need to encourage political intolerance, definitely, as we move forward. But one thing that obviously will show up in the president's speech, many of us would guess, affordable housing.
Yeah, Jonah, it is
Finally.
we need to have independent assessment of this. We are hearing this and that and this and that. But Jonah, we need to get to a point where we can get the truth about what is happening. Because you see, we have a lot of questions with this. And that is where we need a parliament that is assertive, Jonah. Because when you are using land from the people, when you are using our taxes, Jonah, all those things, the moment you use our land and our taxes and our labor, Jonah, the cost of those houses should not be comparable to market rates, John. It should not. It should not be. And so when we get to a situation where you start hearing figures that look like some market, somebody who has had to buy land, has had to pay all those government charges, has had to do all the cost of putting together that house and then sells them, and they look like they are not very different, then there's a lot of questions there. There's a lot of questions, and we hope that our parliament can stand tall and basically ensure that some of these things are very clear to us. We are the owners of this country, Jonah. So we are going to ask questions that we have to ask, but it is good that some Kenyans are getting to get into good houses. I hope that is one of the good things out of that.
Yeah, you saw the collection of names in Kibera and other places where they're going to put affordable housing. People suddenly have a rush to give names.
Yeah, it's good to know that that has begun to change, and people want to go into good houses. Nobody wants to live in a place where there's flying toilets. Nobody wants to live in a place where you leave your sitting room and immediately there is almost a sewage running be in front of you. Yeah, it is good that Kenyans want to have good houses.
That is it. We are going for a break. When we come back, data protection, I want us to talk about some of those things coming up. Viewers, this is Politics Today. See you after the break.